Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at Wildman Lifts. I'm your host, Wildman. On today's episode, I've loaded up the bar with 455 pounds. Now, this was last year's PR, and today I'm going to try to do it for reps. How many reps am I going to get? Well, let's see if I get it. Let's jump in and find out what we did today.
So for today's giant set, we're doing the mixed grip deadlift, where one hand is overhand and the other hand is supinated for a more secure grip. And I'm also going to be doing these alternating dumbbell snatches. And this is really great to get your hips moving, to work your explosiveness, and is a great conditioning tool. And I like to do something similar to these movements on deadlift day in order to get everything warmed up and primed. And I'm going to be doing a 100-meter shuttle run, where I run down to the end of my outdoor gym and run back 3 times. And this is just to keep my body warm and to keep myself conditioned as I go up in the weight. So any time that you're going to try to lift a heavy weight, you should always try to warm your body up and start with lighter weights and work your way up in weight until you get to your desired weight. This will reduce the likelihood of getting an injury. Now, I've been training all last year with straps, where I strap myself to the barbell because strongmen are allowed to use straps in strongman competition. But I've found that I'm actually a lot stronger using the mixed grip than I am with straps. And I think it's because I'm able to get my air at the top, I'm able to get into proper position at the top, and the mixed grip, I'm able to squeeze, which puts more energy and inertia into that bar. So it's allowing the bar to move a little bit easier in a direct path than it is for me to pull from the bottom with straps. Everybody's different, but mainly do whatever works for you. If you can pull more weight from the bottom using straps, or you need to get your grip from the bottom and start at the bottom position, then by all means, don't let me stop you. This is just how I've trained, and I think all of my muscles respond a lot better when I get my air at the top and my brace at the top as well. Now here comes my top set, and the goal was to hit this for 3. This was last year's PR, so I wanted to hit this 3 times. And it kind of got off to a rocky start as I went up, and it only got worse because I was hitting the barbell down unevenly, but it was still able to go up, and it actually felt lighter than I thought it was going to be. Like, I could have possibly gone for a 4th rep if I wanted to, but I left one in the tank because the goal is to hit a bigger PR later on.
Whoa, 455 pounds for 3 reps. Now, that was the goal that I wanted to hit, and I wasn't sure, to be quite honest, if I was going to do it or not. So I'm very grateful that I was able to hit 3 reps, and I did not get any injuries. We're coming up to the end of the year, and my deadlift goal is to hit 475 pounds for 1 rep. Now, the deadlift is very hard to pull from the floor. That's why I did 455 today for reps. The deadlift is a lot harder to pull from the bottom because you're not getting the proper tension. Hence why it's called a deadlift, because you're pulling it from a dead stop. So pulling a 1 rep max from the floor is a lot harder than doing it for reps. You may often notice that your 2nd rep on a deadlift is easier than your 1st. And that's because you have proper tension and you're in the proper position from the top. So I was mainly using those other 2 reps to feel that grind and that pull. So if I do get stuck at 475, I will have that pulling and grinding power, and hopefully I'll be able to lock it out. Now let's finish the workout.
Now, normally this stone is pretty easy for me to lift, and I usually like to lift it after deadlift days, and it just wasn't going up. And that just kind of shows what happens when you deadlift. Your central nervous system kind of takes a hit and a shock. So it took me a minute to get my bearing to be able to lift the stone. But once I was able to get my head straight and focused, I was able to go up pretty easily. So I decided to do 3 rounds of stone to shoulder, continue to do the alternating dumbbell snatches, and then I would also finish off with continuing to run my 100-meter shuttle runs just to keep everything simple and easy to track. And I usually lift that 220-pound stone after I deadlift, no matter what weight it is, because I'm trying to get my body and my central nervous system to work when it really doesn't want to. Like right now, it's screaming like, please stop, I'm tired, and it just wants to shut down on me. So if I'm able to train through that, then it makes it a lot easier the next time I want to lift a heavier stone or I want to deadlift more weight. It all just kind of blends together and makes a solid training session all around. But you can see my last rep there was the smoothest of all of that. And that's just because it took a minute for me to get over the central nervous system shock, but we were able to power on through. Then for my assistance, I decided to do 3 rounds of carrying just a small stone for 30 meters or 100 feet. This is called the calf stone, as I call it. And a lot of strongman medleys have front carries like this. And they have it from a range of small to very, very heavy. And I'm doing what's called Nordic hamstring curls. And I've done this before on my videos in the past. This is a great exercise to really target your glutes and your hamstrings and your posterior chain. And it also works your chest a little bit because you're doing kind of an explosive push-up from the bottom. And I really like to do these on my deadlift day because my posterior chain and my hamstrings are already taxed. So this is a great way to finish them off. And I was running to a designated spot for 200 meters. So I run there and then I run back. And this was to make that when I was done with all the 100-meter shuttle runs and finishing off the 3 rounds with 200-meter runs, I would have done 1 mile of total running without having to run a mile, really, because I was doing it all in between my working sets.
Well, I don't know about you, YouTube, but I am exhausted. The deadlifts went well and I didn't get injured. The stone, although it was very difficult for me to get acclimated with it again after lifting so heavy, it still went up in the desired amount of reps. Really grateful the way this day, now, tonight went. Hope everybody's enjoying the sun going down a lot sooner. I certainly am. I love nighttime. Really appreciate everybody who watched the video and hung out with me today. I'll see you next time.